Today I thought I'd share with you my personal book collection. This is a combined collection of my books that I have kept over the years and Mom's, and we have some pretty rare treats. I love things with the story. I love books with the story, and we'll just start with my bookcase itself. This was my grandfather's, and he bought it at auction when they remodeled the state capitol years ago. By the looks, I assume it's probably from the 20s or 30s, and it has been passed down through the generations to me. So I love my bookcase for that reason. A lot of Oklahoma and family history with that. We'll start here on the top shelf. I love fashion. I picked this up at the Art Museum. Great book. I haven't had a chance to read it all. Give me something to do when I'm bored, but I love to read about fashion. This is one of Sally Melville's first books, and to me it's one of my favorite books of hers. Mom and I love this. This is where we fell in love with Sally Melville and her designs. There's some really cool stuff in here. If you ever have the opportunity to pick up Sally Melville styles, you really should own one. It was a keeper. We don't keep a lot of books, but this is one we keep. Mom loved the Weldon's Practical Needlework. I remember when Interweave started reprinting these, we had people signed up by the dozens to reserve their advanced copy. I think we collected through volume 5 and then we're like, okay, we're good. I mean, there are a lot of fun, a lot of cool old patterns in here. They're a really fun read. I think I don't know how many volumes they kept printing. So if you're into, historic patterns, you might check those out as well. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, I don't know what I'm saving this for. I fell in love with this. This is Herbert Niebling. It's German. If you love lace, you need to look into Herbert Niebling. Look at this. Is that not amazing? It's done with like size 30 thread. And I'm a chart knitter, but holy cowabunga. I mean, look at this. This is the chart to knit that with. I guess when I'm old and have nothing to do, I can knit this. Of course, then I won't be able to see. But they are just beautiful. Something inspirational that if I had more time on my hands, and I'm not a big lace knitter like Mom was, but gee whiz, these are gotta be some of the prettiest lace pieces I've ever seen. All the instructions are strictly in German. I even made some notes to help me translate. Don't know when I'll get around to doing that, but it makes me happy to have it in my bookcase. Every designer, knitter, you really need a good stitch guide, especially if you're going to do much design work. This is kind of a good starting point for any design. Not that you necessarily just take them out of a book and just plop them into a theme. It's just usually a starting off point for your creative process. But the Harmony Knitting Guide, it's been around a long time. It's still one of the very best. This book has got a little dated in that it's a little bit boxy sweaters, but I still think it's a good book to have. It has basic shapes of sweaters and then instructions on how to change sleeves, necks with numbers. I mean, they've got great charts that you could almost knit just right off the numbers if you've knit enough. Like I'll give you an example. Where's that V-neck? Well, I lost it. Like right here, if you've knit enough sweaters, you can do this. It says 1 stitch every 3 rows, 29 times, and then it shows the numbers of bind-offs here. I mean, it's just a great way. So if maybe you wanted to change something from a round to a V or vice versa or sleeve, check this out. Like I said, the styles are a little dated, but the math and stuff behind it are still current today. Furs Hewitt, another great lace designer. I have a lot of Furs Hewitt books of my mom's. She loved lace, and we collected a lot of those. These are just some little leaflets that she kept. Again, lace. Kind of a go-to raglan sweater design. Leisure Arts, some stockings, dishcloths. That's an old one. Mom liked to make dishcloths. An old sock pattern from Stahl. We used to have Stahl sock yarn back in the day. This company's not around anymore. It's a good German company with some great sock yarns. They actually merged with Schackenmeyer, and I think they just kind of folded into that label. More seamless raglan design. And this is a great pattern. This old Leisure Arts pattern. It is hard to beat. These sampler Afghans, they have 60 patterns. You pick 20 and make a throw, and you can just do square at a time. It's a really great pattern. Some things just never age, and to me, that's one of them. What else is in here? Oh, Jo Sharp. I have some of her initial books. You may not know this. We fell in love with Jo Sharp right off the bat. We were the first store in the U.S. to import and bringing her yarns into our country. At the time, she was selling through an Australian distributor out of the Pacific Northwest that sold all sorts of Australian products like boomerangs and whatnot, and they had this random yarn line. But we were her first account here, and still love her. She's kind of pulled out of the U.S. a little bit, mainly sticking, with Australia. But we still love Jo. She is a wonderful designer and a really cool lady. This is just a good basic book, Katrina Buss, Big Book of Knitting. It was a good reference book. Mom liked it. She says all reference books have something in there that you can get, and this was a good one. I've got her threads. These were published in the 90s. If you can get your hands on some of these, they're like gold. There's nothing like these old threads-ish books. And in them, they're filled with articles and knowledge from your knitting greats, everyone from Deborah Newton, Barbara Walker, Alice Starmore, June Hinnemans Hyatt. All the longtime who's of knitting are in here. And again, the styles have changed, but the brains behind it are still as relevant today. So yeah, threads. That's something that's a real nice thing to have in my bookcase. Oh, random. Yearbooks. This is my, volunteer gig. These are yearbooks that my students and I produced from scratch. So we're proud of those. Those go in there. Principles of Knitting. If you knew my mom, this was her go-to book. If you're only going to own one knitting instruction book, this is the one to know. This is her first one. As you can see, it is very, very well loved. I've got autographed book plates. I don't know if she ever put them in her books. I need to do that. But this was very well loved. She ordered this off a little thing in the back for the knitting magazines when it was first released, I think back in the 80s. Back then it was like a $29.95 book. That was super expensive. That's like ordering a $75, $80 book today. Mom bought it. She sat, read the whole thing, and studied it and loved it. This book wasn't printed very long, and the publisher destroyed all the original plates. This is before digital. And so even though it became popular and people were demanding the book, it was impossible to reprint the book. So over the next many years, these books would soar up to $750, $800 a piece on eBay. So it was like one of the top rare books of our time. One of our customers found that she had a second copy and gave one to Mom. So we have a nice new copy of the old book with the jacket. So that was nice. Mom, that was really made her day. And eventually, it took her a while to rewrite the entire book from scratch, but June Hyatt did come out with her new one that is still available. So we have all of those. This is also an out-of-print publication, but I tell you what, it has been very well loved. How do you think I designed all of my sweater patterns, my intarsia ones? This is a Knitter's Craft paper. It has combinations for every gauge imaginable. I could plop them on the copier, tape them together, design any sort of picture design that I wanted to do. There are sort of some online ones, but nothing beats this book. I would cry if something happened to it. Abby, this is another good book, Complete Book of Knitting. Mom's had this a long time. See, she's got her little name in there. She put her name in her book. Be up from Barbara Abbey, a great reference book as well. Another Stitch Library from Leslie Stanley. It's a good one. Oh, here we are. Our intarsia book, gotta have that. We are the source on how to do that. Oh, this is my grandfather, same one I got the bookcase from. He was a longtime business owner. He owned an office equipment store in Iowa City, Mid-State Office Supply. He sold typewriters and steno machines and all of that. And this was his book that I inherited called General Business. It's from the 1920s, and it tells you how to roll coins and write receipts. I mean, I don't know how much of that is still applicable today, but I'm sure some of the basic premises are. But it's another a real good read and kind of crack you up, especially being almost 100 years old now. A customer gave me these, and I think they're really cool. They're from Fair Lady Yarns in New York City, and by the styling of this woman, it looks like it's probably from the 30s. But I want you to look at how cool. Look at those yarns. That's pretty fun for back then. Usually you don't think of yarn being that much fun. And they had Cashmere Deluxe. You'll love this. Cashmere Deluxe, 1 ounce ball, 35 cents. Oh, the boucle for 2 ounce skein, it was 20 cents or $1.39. a ball, and then they have more here. I mean, look at all these. Tops in every respect. Built on quality, priced on quality. And so then there's some styles that you can make. These are kind of falling apart, but I think this is cool. So this was an old mail order publication where you could get very colorful yarns from Fair Lady Yarns. Another rare book of mine that I treasure, How to Successfully Open a Knitting Shop. If I said, who's the first lady of knitting, a lot of you would go to Elizabeth Zimmerman. No, it is actually Sana Noble who wrote this book. That was what she was known as the first lady of knitting. She set up a knitting and needle or handicraft store, or what's it called? Sana Noble School of Knitting and Handicraft. She established that in 1929. And she actually would do like home-based lessons through the mail. And then she eventually wrote this book. Keith was shopping at Half Price Books for me one Christmas to buy me a cookbook. And then we came home, he goes, yeah, I almost bought you this knitting book. It was like in a case, super rare. It's like $125. But I thought, nah, you probably don't need that. And I thought, I would kill for that book. So I sent Carrie my bibliophile down. There was some cash, and she's actually able to score it a little cheaper. I think they had it after Christmas sale, and I am so glad to have it. And it's a real trip to read too. And it's signed by the author. And these do sell for about $100, $125 on book sites. And so then I had to, of course, get her other publication, Knitting Problems, What the Knitting Knitter Should Know. And it's just a lot of fun to read. So I love my historic stuff. And the last thing on my top shelf here, Pantone. I'm a Pantone freak too. I don't have them on my bookcase, but I have I don't know how many wheels of colors and whatnot. But this is just a fun little inspirational thing I picked up. I think I grabbed this at the art museum too because I thought, oh, it's pretty. So I love things like that. Next, we'll look at my bottom shelf.